Now, we want to welcome you tonight on behalf of the Scouts and leaders of Troop 318. Ben Tursich, as Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, will you please lead the troop in the pledge and Scout oath and law?
Would everyone please stand? Troop attention. Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Halt. Prepare to post the colors. Scout hat salute. Post the colors. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Would you please join me in the Scout oath and law?
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
2. Color guard reassembled. About face, forward march. Color guard halt. Color guard dismissed. Troop at ease.
We come together for this court of honor to think about our past accomplishments and to relive the experience we have shared together. From the extreme heat of summer camp to the food camp out at Camp Sullivan, where the adults seem to eat really well, to our regular Thursday night meetings, we have learned a lot to be thankful for. I would like to ask the chaplain's aides to come up and lead us in prayer.
The last time I actually wrote my welcome was 5 years ago when I did my first one. And I was just as nervous then as I am tonight. It's much easier all the other times. It's the first one and the last one that kill you. Welcome, everyone. It was about 5 years ago that Jim Fox, Jerry Steckmiller, and Marty Nachel came up to me at a court of honor. I made the mistake of sitting close to the front. And they asked me if I'd be the next committee chairman for Troop 318. I was honored they'd even consider me, and even though I wasn't much of a camper, too much of a big mouth at times, and not very up to date on the rules of scouting, but because I'd been trained over and over that if we get involved, our children will get involved. If we give back, we'll get back. And you know what? They were right. I have to admit that scouting has given back to me far more than I put in. Working with boys from age 10 to 18 is often compared to herding cats. It's true. But seeing boys turn into young men is priceless. I have to thank many people who, without their help, I wouldn't have succeeded in this job. First, the scouts and their parents, because if you didn't choose scouting, we couldn't have a great program. So thank you, scouts. You're an inspiration to me, your focus, your hydration, and your coolness. Second, the adult leaders. Although I still can't tie a bowline knot, 5 leaders have tried over the last 5 years to teach me. I know that I can call on many of the scouts to tie one for me. I want to recognize my mentors, helpers, friends, and all around great examples for our boys. I know I'll forget a few names, but here goes. Roger Sandoval. He's a great camp director. Hey Roger, what are you on your 4th or 5th committee chairman? Eagle Scout and adult leader John Petrowskis for his fantastic webmaster role, but even more. He was always my go-to guy in the early days to find out what the scouting rules were. how to handle different tasks and situations. So thanks, John. The Wilsacs, Barzaks, Diatomos, and Kohlers for doing the difficult job of advancement chair. I include the families because around Court of Honor time, I know the whole family pitches in to help. Joe Kowalczyk, Pat Walter, Tom Wiechek, Jim McGee, Marty McGuire, Julie Terzic, and Tom McMahon for all your help with fundraising. Yes, it does take an army to run this troop. Steve Bailey for his bike hikes and more, and more, and more. Mick Kennis for his help on Life to Eagle, the new Eagle Project rules, and being a mentor to our Eagle candidates. Frank Perino for all his help with Adopt a Highway, merit badges, religious awards, and more. He has a young scout, so he'll be around for a while. Marty Smith and Jackie Grenda for all their work on adult training, merit badge nights, hikes, summer camps, and more. There are also a few people who really worked hard for the troop in the past, and I consider them my friends. They may not be here, but we still remember them. Marty Nachel, former Scoutmasters Jerry Steckmiller and Brian Graff. All were inspirations to our older Scouts, and I know we are better people having worked with them. Finally, I want to thank two incredible men. Please give a hand to Bill Carabell. Bill is my replacement, and for that I'm very thankful. I know the troop is in excellent hands, and I'm sure he will make some great improvements. And now please give a hand to Scoutmaster Murray. He's always there early, he always stays late, but most important, he's an incredible inspiration to the boys. Please help him, support him, and support Orland Boy Scout Troop 318. Thank you.
Oh. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
Great, the roast has just begun. I mean, you know, Jim and Tim came to me one night at a meeting, and typical Jim, I could see him coming from across the room with a mission on it, and he's like, hey, can we talk to you for a second? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He says, you are. And I said, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, I need to talk to you about this very important position. It's only an hour a week. Well, I got to tell you, Jim, it wasn't 5 years that you were in the position, it was 6 years, and it's some pretty tough shoes to fill, so. Let's see if we can get this all here. So I just wanted to talk about leadership. And I promised Mr. Kohler that this speech will probably be only about 45 minutes long, so sit tight. I meant 4 to 5 minutes long, okay. So, let's see if we can get this here. What is leadership? It is a process by which a person influences others. In scouting, leadership is the ability to accomplish the scouting program in the efficient and effective manner. As in most groups, our troop is evidence of the willingness of its leaders to go above and beyond to work together and provide an excellent scouting program for the Scouts. Scout leaders become an extended family, with scouting all about great adventures and having fun. Working together is a give and take business, and the leader gives guidance and direction. The leader also gives up to the standards of the group. Simply put, scouting teaches young boys to be good citizens and trains them to become future leaders. But how? How, we ask? Since the earliest recorded times, people have looked to the wisdom of lawgivers to guide them along their paths of duty and honor. Most laws have been written, have begun with a do or a don't, with a you must or a you must not. They either command or prohibit. But the Scout Law does neither. It's simply a statement of fact of what's natural for a Scout and of what a Scout is. And as we heard earlier, and as we practice every day in our Scouting lives, a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Teaching Scouts to live by these words in every part of their daily lives is how Scouting makes good citizens and leaders. No one has instilled more of those core values of Scouting through his role as committee chairman into this community and into America's future leaders than the Boy Scouts of Troop 318, than our very own Mr. Harmening. Now, we're almost done, but I do have a few more words to say. The job of committee chairman...
You can't buy that paper anymore. He's had that for years. Just waiting for the time to use it.
Trust me, Staples still has it. Yeah. And if I don't ruin it, I can take it back. The job of committee chairman is complex and is one that requires flexibility, variety, and responsibility. It touches on all the aspects of Scouting, always remembering that it's all about the Scouts. The chairman has the final responsibility for the successful operation of the troop, working closely with the Scoutmaster and other troop leaders and committee members. The chairman, like troop leaders, must set a good example and lead the way for Scouts to follow. A successful chairman will not ask of anyone something he would not willingly do himself, except maybe go camping. More about that a little bit later. Lord Baden-Powell said, "Scouting is a game with a purpose. A Scout is helpful, but there is so much more to it than that," and Mr. Harmening learned at an early age from Scout leaders, just like the future leader he would become, what it takes to be a leader. Mr. Harmening grew up through Cub Scouts, earning his Arrow of Light, and eventually would cross over into Boy Scouts, learning and later instilling all the aspects of the Scout Law. Mr. Harmening has done his fair share of picking up bags and bags of litter on highway cleanups, moving thousands of fundraising boxes of popcorn. He has painted walls, cleaned, dug holes, cut wood, cleared brush, collected boxes and boxes of canned goods for food banks, retired American flags at campouts, and reluctantly spent a few nights in a tent. Yes, it might all be considered work, but Mr. Harmening always pulled everyone together. He always led without hesitation, did it enthusiastically, and always made it fun. The list goes on and on. As we stand here tonight, I'm sure in our own minds are filled with memories of our developments as leaders and Scouts. I am sure that those memories include your own first-time experience of outdoor Scouting events or on your first camping trip. I just want to share a couple of my short stories about Mr. Harmening in the past few years, and I promise they'll be short. And I'm sure you'll have your own. One of my stories goes back to this building when my wife and I and our young son William were becoming new parents in the troop about 3 years ago, and we were all huddled up in this parent meeting in one of the rooms here at Zion Church, and I could see Jim, he's working the room, he's talking to all the new parents, and finally he gets to us, and it's like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" "We're doing great." "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, so you guys having any problems filling out your forms?" "No." And I said, I'm thinking, wow, this guy, he's important, so I'm going to ask him a couple of questions. "So, Mr. Harmening, what is it, that you do?" He says, "Oh, I take care of the troop and this, that, and the other." I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "It sounds like, you're involved in all the camping." He goes, "No, I hate camping." I'm like, oh my God, what are we getting into? We're joining the troop with the guy that doesn't like to go camping? I mean, come on. And then later on, as we got to know one another, I have, conversations with Jim, and Jim says, we're talking about business, and, I asked Jim about politics, which I won't go into, but he'll certainly give you his opinion. And he says, "Hey, what do you know about this Wall Street movement, about them, sleeping out on Wall Street?" I said, "Jim, it's nothing for you. They stay in tents." He goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with that." And so I said, You know, so what are you going to do, Jim, now that you've done all of these years? You know, and by the way, Jim, it wasn't 5 years, it was 6 years. And after 3 changes in the plaques, you know, and some expenses, we'll get that right, but that's okay. But I said, so what are you going to do? I said, I know you need to, you know, are you going to go play golf? He goes, well, I don't know. I said, well, you probably can use some work on your golf game, so maybe that's a good thing. So what are you going to do? He goes, you know, I think I'm going to, you know, create a venture crew. I said, a venture crew? That's cool. That's awesome. We don't have one? He goes, yeah. He said, you know, we're going to call it 418, Mr. Murray, Mr. Smith, we're going to be involved. My daughter's going to be involved. I'm like, great. I'm going, so Jim, what's one of the first activities you guys are going to do? He says, we're going camping. I'm like, well, God help us, okay? But if Jim does half the job that he did with our troop, they're going to be the best venture crew as ever. So let me give them, let's give another round of applause here. And for that, we have this little scouting plaque. It's actually a scout leader, and it says, Jim, I hate camping Harmening. Committee Chairman, Orland Park Boy Scout Troop 318. It's actually 2007 to 2012, which would be 6 years, Jim, not 5, okay? And I also have a gift certificate here. I think it's for like REI or Cabela's or some camping gear outfit or something that him and Nancy would enjoy. I'm not done yet, I'm not.
It really does say I hate camping. I thought it was kidding.
But back to seriousness. In closing, we would be remiss if we did not also give a special thank you to Mr. Harmeny's family. His wife Nancy, please stand up. His lovely children who are not with us tonight, Olivia, Elise, Jack, and Natalie. Thank you for sharing your father and your husband and all of his enthusiasm, his wit, his great sense of humor, his great leadership skills, and for keeping scouting strong and vibrant with Boy Scout Troop 318 and Boy Scouts of America. Thank you. So in the essence of time, and it makes me wonder if, in addition to being loyal, brave, trustworthy, and the Scout Law, and all the points of the Scout Law, it seems we're now requiring Scouts to be brief. So how do you be brief about covering 6 years of service in 6 minutes? Well, as Mr. Harmening would say, it's not about the leaders, it's about the Scouts. So let's move on. So, Mr. Harmening, on behalf of the Orland Park Boy Scout Troop 318, we would like to present this Outstanding Service Award. We would like to present this Outstanding Service Award to you, Committee Chairman, 2007 to 2012, in recognition of exceptional leadership, dedication, and outstanding service. Thank you for all that you have done on instilling the meaning and core values of Scouting into America's future leaders. Thank you.
Once again, another great SPL is leaving us. He too had the deer in the headlight looks when he came in. All he kept saying is 73 Scouts at summer camp, 73 Scouts at summer camp. And as me and Mr. Sandoval kept telling him, Joe, it'll be fine, everything will be cool. And he did an awesome job keeping everybody in line at summer camp and keeping everybody in line throughout the 6 months. Always had a plan, always had a backup plan, exactly what a good leader is supposed to have. So let's give Joe and his ASPLs another round of applause. One of the things that I brag about this troop is how well we get along for such a large number. And I see that a lot. Actually, I hear it a lot whenever we have our show and do. And this past show and do, wasn't any different. I had parents come up to me from the Cub Scouts and ask, how does it happen? How does it work? How do you guys do it? And I tell them what I tell all the parents and all the people that ask me that question is 318 is a finely tuned machine. We work well together. We don't hold nothing back. And we have great leaders in the Scouts. And them great Scout leaders come from great leaders in the troop. And them leaders are the parents. I look out at the parents and the adult leaders and how active we are and how active our boys are. And that's why this troop is such a great machine. We keep it going strong, and we run it well. We go by the book at times, but we always make sure that the Scout is having fun and is always safe. It's all about them. It's all about making sure that they're having fun, that they're learning, that they're getting the values and morals that this program that's been around for 103 years, that hasn't changed much, keep on going, keep on living. I go to these Eagle Board, whenever we have an Eagle Board of Review, or I introduce the new Eagle Scouts for the Board of Review, just like all the Board of Reviews, the Scout is asked to leave. And the question I get, I stay in the room, and the question I get is, where do you get these kids? And I just smile and say, Troop 318. They cannot believe every Scout that comes in front of the Eagle Board is calm and cool, and hopefully hydrated. But they know what to say. They're very respectful to the board, and they're very precise with their answers. And it makes me very proud to sit on them. These guys, whether you're a Scout, or rank a Scout, or whether you just turned Eagle, you make myself and you make all the leaders and your parents very proud of what you do every week, every month, every day of the year. So thank you guys. One of the big things that this troop is advancement, as you've seen tonight. It's amazing how hard these boys work through the course. It's just 6 months. Was over almost 400 merit badges. I don't know how many rank advancements. I know every week I'm in the Scoutmaster Conference for almost the whole meeting. Keeping track of that is an amazing job. I don't know how these two gentlemen do it, but a huge round of thanks to Dan Diatomo and Jim Cole. All you Scouts who volunteer, part of Scouting is helping the community, giving back to the community. It's not about the camping, it's not about the merit badges, it's not about rank advancement, it's about giving yourself back to the community, helping out. Whether it's adventure days, pancake breakfast, Eagle projects, adopt a highway, whatever it is, we're always there to help. And I always hope we always come out in force, as 318 always does. So for those of you that are there every trip or are there part of the trip or part of the volunteerism, thank you very much for all you Scouts and adult leaders that help out with Troop 318's giving back to the community. If you noticed in the bulletin, I wrote a little letter to Jim Harmening. Yes, I was nervous coming and becoming a Scoutmaster of this troop. Look at the size of the people in this room. It's amazing, the machine that we have here. I confided in Jim to help me out, Mr. Sandoval, who was sort of helpish, kinda. I don't know, you're Scoutmaster. But Jim was always there for me. He always had words of advice, what to do, what to say, how to say it, how to get the point across without being too bossy. And he's a great man for that, and I appreciate him very, very much. I couldn't have done it without him. I couldn't have got through that first year without him, so thank you very much, Jim. Every 6 months goes by, and I look forward to this night, because I love to see the advancement that you guys are doing. It's not easy. I know the time that you guys have is very difficult to squeeze everything in, but with just hearing what took part tonight, I am very proud of all you. So with that being said, stay focused, stay hydrated, stay cool. Thanks, guys. Also, one last thing before we forget, patrols, make sure you guys get together after the meeting and get the menus together. Thanks, guys.
Let's give another round of applause to Mr. Murray.
Retire the colors. Office. Forward march. Halt. Color guard dismissed. Troop at ease.